Imagine being the toughest guy in an anime. You could take on anyone with ferocity and skill. You are even referred to as the baddest man on the planet, yet on the inside, the toughest battle you're fighting is with yourself. This isn't just a story for the screen, it's the real-life journey of Mike Tyson, a boxer so intense he became a cultural icon, and yet a man with an inner struggle that nearly broke him, as he rose yet again at the age of 58 to take on a prime 27-year-old Jake Paul. We are reminded of Tyson's impact even in anime. That's where Hajime No Ippo comes in, a story about boxing, yes, but also about the battles we can't see. Ippo may not be the spitting image of Tyson, but he's influenced by his fierce drive, the unmatched power, the fear, and the self-doubt. Tyson's legacy of power and pain finds its way into the anime, teaching us that true strength isn't just physical, it's about the courage to face yourself. You see, when I was growing up, Mike Tyson wasn't just a boxer, he was everywhere. He had Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on NES, wrestling appearances, and movie roles. He is a larger-than-life figure that has captured the hearts of many with his fighting style, ferocity, and impact on other media. On the boxing side, he became the youngest heavyweight boxing champion in 1986. He would decimate opponents with over 40 knockouts and rarely felt challenged in his prime. This success also brought a lot of temptations, like parties, drinking, and drugs that don't fit the life of a top athlete, which made Tyson a far more complex character than just a good fighter. But as he began shocking the world with his hard punches and lavish lifestyle, a manga was being released in Japan that showcased the journey of boxers and took heavy influence from the greats of the sport, known as Hajime no Ippo. Naturally, Mike Tyson's fighting style had a huge impact on the main character Ippo Makunouchi. He borrows from Mike's aggressive, power-focused style with devastating hooks and uppercuts. He mimics the explosive power with his Dempsey roll technique and how it drives forward motion and heavy punches, and defensively using the peekaboo style that focuses on heavy defense and strong dashes like Tyson. The attention to detail of the manga created a love letter to boxing and became such a hit that it translated into an anime. So regardless of how you consume it, you'll find a fun, empowering, and emotional story that, much like Tyson's journey, won't just inspire you to hit the heavy bag, but it might help you get into the ring with your inner demons. On the surface, Ippo's fighting style is the most recognizable impact of Mike Tyson, but his entire life has parallels to Ippo's journey. From the very beginning of the anime, Ippo is the underdog. He works helping his mother run their family fishing charter business, he doesn't have any friends, and he is bullied at school. In the manga, it is this bullying that begins the comparison to Mike Tyson's life. After Ippo's friend and mentor Takamura saved Ippo from being bullied, he tells Ippo about Tyson's past, where Tyson was also picked on when he was small. After being teased, he would run home crying and tend to his pigeons. However, once a bully got a hold of his pigeons and killed them, he went berserk and attacked the person who did it. And like a real-life John Wick, his journey started. This scene is actually omitted from the anime, potentially due to Tyson's dark journey, which I'll go into later, but it's this moment of resiliency that inspires Ippo's story. When Tyson began boxing, he was introduced to Cus D'Amato, who was an old celebrated boxing coach. Being in his 70s, however, meant a lot of star boxers didn't want him in their corner anymore, so this gave Tyson the opportunity to work with a highly knowledgeable veteran coach. He became a father figure in Mike's life. He taught him various skills like the peekaboo style, and early footage of Tyson shows how impactful Cus's training was on him, but equally as important, Tyson credits D'Amato to building his confidence. These exact qualities mimic Ippo's coach Genji Kamigawa. Not only is he 73 at the beginning of the story, mimicking Cus's situation as a coach, but in the father figure Ippo needs. Ippo's father passed away before the events of the anime, leaving Ippo and his mother to run the family business, but also lacking a certain structure that Ippo's hardworking mother can't always provide. Kamigawa regularly teaches Ippo life lessons through the lens of boxing. His tough love approach can seem harsh at times, but he has Ippo's best interest at heart and knows he must mold him into a confident, disciplined, and honorable fighter. A good coach doesn't just offer mental guidance outside the ring. Kamigawa often gives Ippo crucial information on his opponents, which help Ippo identify weaknesses and come up with new strategies in the heat of a match. He also treats Ippo in his corner between rounds, and his treatments range from stopping his eye from bleeding or dumping a bunch of ice on Ippo's groin to cool him off. But the best interactions between Ippo and Kamigawa are the moments where he cheers Ippo on. My favorite example is during the Jason Azuma fight. This This entire arc shows Ippo's battle with self-doubt. Jason isn't a rude, cocky fighter that you would love to see his face punched in. No, he is a kind, gentle soul fighting to earn money for people he cares about. This means Ippo doesn't get that fuel of fighting a guy who needs to be taught a lesson. Ippo constantly believes that he doesn't have what it takes to win. What makes this such a powerful thing, however, is that Ippo doesn't just say, "Woe is me, I don't think I could do it," and walk into the fight with a negative mindset. He uses this self-doubt to work on his weaknesses. He trains at a local park, ducking under horizontal bars to help him dodge Jason's hooks. Training doesn't make it fully go away though, and during the fight, this doubt enters again after Ippo is knocked down. Kanagawa gives him a no-nonsense pep talk and tells him that he has proved to everyone his skill and he just needs to continue to execute. Custamato did the same thing for Tyson. He knew that all boxers and just people in general doubt themselves. In boxing, however, confidence can be the difference between holding a belt or hitting the mat. D'Amato taught Tyson that fear is his friend. He taught him to control that self-doubt inside of him and use it to push himself further. That is why Kanagawa's relationship with Ippo is so crucial to his success. Without a coach, Ippo would fall victim to his negative thoughts. Tyson attributes his growth to Cus's coaching and influence, and watching interviews of him discussing their relationship will show the world champion teary-eyed. This is really what makes the anime and Tyson's stories so similar, because both of these stories tell us that your fight isn't against the opponent in the opposite corner of the ring, but in the mirror, staring right back at you. When I was writing this, I debated what fight in Hajime no Ippo I could compare to Tyson's downfall. The truth is that every fight on Ippo's journey displays the painfully real horror of giving in to our negative mindset. He regularly doubts himself. Every opponent who has this trick up their sleeve rocks him before the fight. These battles create doubt, anger, anxiety, and obsession. He doesn't just struggle with boxing, he struggles with life. He suffers from three things that Tyson also suffered from: his fears, his rage, and his insecurities. Fear is the most universal struggle that we've all faced. Tyson was always scared before fights. He has mentioned in several interviews that he would get extremely nervous before his fights, so much so that he would get physically sick. Once he entered the ring, however, he would turn those nerves into fuel for his punches. Ippo, like Tyson, learns to harness fear to fuel his aggression in the ring. Ippo's journey is a psychological battle where he must find ways to keep his anxieties at bay and channel them into fighting. Tyson's rage was a weapon that annihilated those who stood against him in the ring, but it wasn't just with punches. In one of the most infamous moments in sports history, Mike Tyson challenged Evander Holyfield to a rematch where he bit off a piece of Holyfield's ear. He was disqualified, charged a $3 million fine, and his reputation was tarnished. Years later, Tyson admitted that his actions were wrong, and at the time, he wasn't interested in boxing, saying he didn't train for that fight and was drugged. These decisions caused Tyson to desperately lash out in a tense matchup, leading to a dark moment for the sport and Mike Tyson, reminding all of us that anger can derail even the strongest fighters. His anger could be seen even in interviews where he said things like,
"You can't touch me, you're not man enough. I eat your alive, you
know what I can do. How about kill this mother?
I want your heart, I want to eat his children. I'll you till you love me.
Though Ippo never exhibits true Tyson rage, he still loses himself in anger at key moments of his journey. His arc against Mashiba puts Ippo against a fearsome opponent who fights with brutal and unsportsmanlike tactics. He witnesses his opponent unfairly harm a dear friend, which causes Ippo to snap. He pounds on a heavy bag for hours, only to make his fists bloody and hurt. He loses that kind, respectful, and passionate demeanor and is only grounded by his friends and mentors. Both Tyson's dark moment and Ippo's loss of self are warnings to never let that destructive power be left unchecked. But fear and rage are nothing compared to the other many insecurities we all face. Mike Tyson's downfall wasn't linked to just one match. It is often cited that the Buster Douglas fight was the moment that finished off the champ. This entire fight is way too much to cover, but there is an ESPN 30 for 30 documentary called 42 to 1. It is amazing, and trust me, it is going to make you cry and then immediately hit the gym. In short, this fight has the significantly less favorable fighter, Buster Douglas, knock down Tyson. What you can't see in that fight is the countless wrong decisions Mike Tyson made before it. Tyson wasn't interested in fighting at the time. He said he just wanted to party and chase women. He was 15 pounds overweight, out of shape, and out of focus. He was on top of the world and didn't care about anyone under him. He was drinking, doing drugs, faking drug tests before matches, and crashing expensive cars. Buster Douglas was seen as an easy opponent that didn't need training or a lifestyle change. Even Tyson's own corner was so arrogant that they didn't bring any equipment to aid him. For as charming as Ippo is, his mental mental state changes wildly at times. At one point, he is so obsessed with boxing and the rush of winning that he can't take much needed rest after a fight. This obsession goes further with his iconic quote, "What does it mean to be strong?" Despite numerous victories, he often feels that he hasn't truly earned his place as a champion. He constantly doubts whether he is worthy of being called strong, leading him to push himself beyond his limits and neglect his own well-being. In the manga, he attends his school reunion, and his classmates mention that he hasn't changed after all his boxing success. Even after becoming a muscle-bound athlete with accolades, he is still scared, timid, and full of self-doubt. He can't even talk to a girl he has a crush on. The strength he is searching for isn't about punching harder or lifting weights over his head. It is inner strength, which is much harder to train. Luckily, we all have the power to confront these demons, but we all know that it isn't easy. Getting back up from a haymaker, not thrown from your enemy, but from your own life, is devastating, and staying on the ground can feel very peaceful. But true champions rise. Later in his life, Tyson walked a path of redemption. He turned to sobriety and self-reflection. He changed his outlook on life and took responsibility for his past actions while also learning from them. He returned to the ring for exhibition matches and is a charismatic and lovable boxing icon. He even made a public apology to Evander Holyfield, who forgave Tyson. Though he still has that fierce competitive mentality, he is more humble, reflective, and kinder, which shows his true strength all these years later. The entire story of Hajime No Ippo is that journey of growth. It tells us that each fight is a learning opportunity. It can make us face hard truths about ourselves and the boxing matches in our heads. We've all been there. I feel it too. As a fan who has been deeply inspired by these stories, every video I edit, every gym session, every paragraph of a script, every late night reflection, even every relaxing moment I just want to play a video game instead of working on this, is a fight to find peace and balance for myself and no one else. If you ever felt like you were up against yourself like Tyson or Ippo, just know that you're not alone in that fight. I'm right there with you, trying to come out stronger on the other side. That is the beautifully absurd thing about enjoying a boxing anime or just thinking a boxer is a cool guy. You tune in to relax, but you can end up being inspired by the hard journey you are witnessing and confront yourself to do the same. It makes us stronger and better without even stepping in the ring. People underestimate the power of anime and the inspirational storytelling it can bring, and there's a similar empowering story in The Elusive Samurai that follows a young samurai whose greatest strength is running away. And to hear more about that, you can check out this video right here.